This is The Traditional Tastes of Morocco by me, Jeremy Caswell. Morocco, otherwise known as Al Maghrib in the native language, is a place of rich culture and culinary skill. Sharing a land border with Algeria and the West Sahara, they have access to many different vegetables and spices, along with access to the ocean, so for many kinds of seafood, sharing an ocean border with Spain in the form of the Strait of Gibraltar. Some of these spices and vegetables include things like common stuff, like onions, tomatoes, and potatoes, along with things that are a bit more common in terms of year-round use, such as pumpkins. Other things, such as herbs, which are common but some are expensive, such as saffron, which is much more expensive here than it would be there since they produce it over there. Though you also have options like cilantro and mint, which are common uses here and there. Something that's all around very useful. Over in spices, you've got things such as turmeric and ginger, both of which are root vegetables, otherwise known as tubers, similar to something like potatoes, inviting their own unique flavor to dishes, not just sweet things. Well, you also have cinnamon, which, while not a root vegetable, is still a spice. It's created by treating and drying a very special kind of wood and then curling it up to produce cinnamon sticks that we usually get at the store, along with the grinding them up to get cinnamon powder. With access to both ocean and land neighbors, Morocco has a lot of different meats to work with, from beef to lamb to multiple kinds of seafood, even exotic things like pigeons. Something that's pigeon is used to cook with creates pastilla, which is a pastry dough stuffed with chicken or pigeon meat, along with almonds and eggs, with pigeon being the traditional way to do it. It could also be turned into a kind of dessert by sprinkling it with brown sugar and powdered sugar. Something else, such as harira, is much more basic, with being a simple stew characterized by a base of tomatoes, lentils, and chickpeas, with any kind of meat being usable in it, with the standard traditional one being beef. Both of those dishes exhibit many of the cooking methods used, but two of the original ones from Morocco are grilling and stewing. Grilling is primarily used for meats to bring out as much flavor and nutrition as possible, as it's something that can be done very easily with relatively primitive tools. Even a simple campfire and a wooden tent over it would suffice. Stewing, on the other hand, is commonly used for vegetables specifically, rather than meats, being able to be used to pull out a lot of the nutrition commonly found in vegetables that are normally hidden within cellulose and the like, along with bringing out their own flavors, along with the introduction of other potential things, such as the previously mentioned ginger, turmeric, or cinnamon, with occasionally meat added in as well, just for flavor, though not the main dish, as with grilling. Now, both of those do exhibit a focus on depth of flavor, but to understand that properly, we have to look at a bit of context here. Originally, Morocco was home to a group called the Berbers, and it stayed like that for almost 2,000 years, unmolested and relatively concealed, I suppose, in history. In more relatively recent history, though, around the last 200 years, the Spanish eventually found and occupied Morocco, bringing with them many pastries, such as the previously mentioned pastilla, and other meat dishes, which, even after the Spanish left, became a major part of Moroccan cuisine. Of course, any place with valuable cooking and interesting dishes has to have someone famous from there. And one such person, would be Murad Lalou. He is a chef, originally from Morocco before immigrating to America, who, when he did come to America, in California, he started his own restaurant named after himself, known as Murad, or the Restaurant of Murad, to bring his own culture of Moroccan food to America and to fuse them together into a hybridization to bring the best of both worlds. Some of these hybridizations created many kinds of street food that are now available in Morocco to this day, such as a kind of donut, using the relatively new method of deep frying, along with the many flavors and spices commonly found in Morocco, such as, again, the previously mentioned ginger and cinnamon, mixed together with things like deep frying to create street food, such as these donuts. Other methods include things like smoking, which bring out more depth of flavor and add things rather than simply enhancing what was already there with grilling. Some of the other street foods in the area are something like fried potato cakes, which are a savory option, again utilizing frying in a way that's relatively new to the area in comparison to other forms of cooking such as stewing or previously mentioned grilling. On top of that, compounded by the new methods of cooking, Moroccan food has a trend towards vegetables over meat as the main dish, with meat mostly being reserved in small amounts to the side or as an addition to lend more depth of flavor. This coincides with modern trends such as health and sustainable eating practices, with the focus being on one being conscious of what we're consuming, which definitely allows Moroccan food to thrive in such an environment. Now, unfortunately, the restaurant of Murad did close down in October of 2024 due to financial complications from COVID and pressures brought on thereabout. This is the menu of Murad Lalou, but sadly, this is the best I could find. There were no PNGs or digital images, but you can see on here there are many staples here from Morocco, such as couscous at the bottom, which is a kind of unique grain to the area. And overall, the world is a really interesting place, full of many different places, foods, and just people in general. Even such a small portion of it, such as Morocco, is filled with so many interesting things in the culture and just in general. Even if you don't go there or you don't go to experience any of it, if you find something you're interested in, just go learn about it. See if there's something you can add to yourself or your own diet to improve things for yourself. Just in general to make things better, more interesting. And with that, thank you for listening.